Try, the heart of sky created human beings out of corn. These humans were placed on Earth and were able to see and understand everything that surrounded them. They were able to see long distances and things that were hidden. They were connected to the entire cosmos and were in balance with the natural world. But the gods realized they had given the humans too many powers, so they blew a mist over their eyes.
Well, I've analyzed your hair, and the real conclusion is that the carbon in your body is really originates
from corn.
Evidence of cross-kingdom regulation by microRNA. Now, it means that microRNA, which is information, it is genetic information, has now been found to pass from the foods through digestion into your blood and then to attach onto your organs. You got that? It goes from the food through digestion into your blood and attaches onto your organs, and there it modifies the function and the expression of those organs. This is groundbreaking science. This
Okay, this is a picture of the pineal gland in your head. It's pretty interesting if you look at it. It's the first time I've ever seen it cut open. It's hexagon shape. What's even more interesting, and I'll show you, is the numbers that are written here. You've got a 6, a 7, 31, 32. You got something that looks like it says F5, but that's really a 45. 4 and 5 are 9. 6 over here on the right hand side. But if you look at this thing, it's a little hexagon. Then you got off to the left, it looks like a C, but that's really where they get the sickle from. Let's move on over to this picture over here. If we look here, we can see that named on their 6 sides. So 6, a hexagon is a two-dimensional version of a three-dimensional cube. If we look at the number, look at where the number 7 is. That looks like a question mark. Looks like a question mark. You got a 31 and a 32. You got down here, you got a 45 again. Over here to the left, it looks like corn stalks. Looks like corn stalks. So when we look at that, remember I told you the human carbon molecule is exactly the same as the corn molecule. That's very interesting because I'm going to try and tie this together. And this will be my last video because Her Majesty, Queenie the bullshit camera, just started her shit again. And well, we don't want to take up any bandwidth while she sits around and berates everybody. Okay, so here you can see I circled this. You got the 45 right there. That's 4 and 5 equals 9. 9 is supposedly their God, but that's what connects you to God. Hello operator, get me number 9. Okay, well there's number 9 right there. Here we see I did an outline of it. Looks like some type of fern, like a like a falcon or something. I just did an outline. I just found it weird that that thing happens to look like that. So once again, we have a 4 and a 5 and a 6, 32, a 31. 6 being the number man, 9 being the number Saturn. Okay, so here, if we look, like if you connect the 6 points, there you get a little cube. I guess that makes us all blockheads. In other words, what has happened is they have shoved this thing down, so far down into our heads. You know, that's your microchip that's been in you your whole life. Up until the point of the story of Babel, I think everybody had the ability to do things. And I think that's when the Creator came along and put an end to it. Because that's what our connection with whatever Saturn is. When Saturn vibrates, so does this thing. This is what the vortexes do. That particular little gland sits in water. It's like a crystal and it vibrates. And so it's all got to do with sounds and frequencies. And those vibrations make you see things. That's what all that DMT and LSD, it affects it. But naturally you can't do anything with it because it's been shut down. Here's a picture here. Remember I told you that the raven or the crow is the messenger to Saturn? Well, it's interesting if you look at this picture. If you look where the H is, where the pineal gland is, you can see almost like a bottom jaw of a raven. You can see the top white line. It makes it look like a beak. So it kind of looks like a bird. That's interesting. Just a comparison. Oh, I like down here it's got the letter G. That's always important. Look at this picture of the brain where it shows the pineal gland. It's interesting. Yeah, it's purple. Who's seen that coming? Okay, just they placed this thing, and if you notice, look at it. It's a little square, a little rectangle. Interesting that whoever these characters were that said, "Let us make man in our image," or more like us, planted this thing in a one spot you can't get to. That's interesting. Otherwise, you die trying to get at it. Another thing is with the Egyptians, when they would die, they would pull it they would pull that part out of the brain. They'd pull the brain out to get that thing because they thought that the whole life had been recorded on there, kind of like a black box. Here we see this game called Cranium. Isn't it interesting? It's purple. How interesting. Purple again. I know red and blue make purple because the red is the male, the blue is the female. The two combined make one, which is androgynous, and the color is purple. It also is the left brain and the right brain is the two combined. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. If you look at the top of the brain, you see where the antenna is? The only one of the characters down here is the little dude that looks like an alien. Just an interesting observation. This here is a picture of the corn that's been genetically modified. That's why it looks like a Frankenstein. We look at the child, he's got DNA wrapped around him. If we look up here, we see the eye. See the eye representing the pineal gland. If you look at that picture of that eye, it's really a cube. So as you can perfectly see it, now that I've enlarged it, it's a cube. And it's exactly the same shape as that little buzzard in your head. Because when Saturn acts up, you act up. In other words, the devil made me do it. And here you go, when you look here, this is Stephen King's book. Children of the Corn. Why are they children of the corn? Because it's genetically modified them into being a bunch of little bastards. Notice it says Genesis. So now we're returning to the golden age of Saturn. What is he doing? He's holding a sickle. You see here? And then what does it say up here in the corner? Extreme dimension. Now, do you really think you need to put that on with a label like this? Isn't that interesting? Children of the corn. Genetically modified. And what is this corn doing? Oh, by the way, corn is in everything. It's in diesel fuel. It's in gasoline. So make sure that we smell that stuff all day long. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they're spraying from the air. So to make sure that you get it and you ingest it, it's in vinegar. It's in everything. Go look and see how much corn is in. It's filler for everything. It also has rat DNA in it. Go look that up. So they want to make sure that they reactivate that thing in your head, the thing that the creator shut down, so that you would have some type of free will. So all of these people in the New Age movement that want to light that thing off, I'm not so sure that's a good idea. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Because what they're trying to do is genetically alter us. If the calcification was enough, if that's where they wanted us, then they would just leave it. No, they want to restart that thing. They want to restart that thing so that that thing up in the sky can communicate with that little thing in your head. It's called from the micro to the macro, from the smallest to the biggest, as above, so below. That thing sits in a little pot of fluid and it vibrates. It's like a crystal. There you go. Mystery solved. Now here we can see, if you turn them on the side, they look similar. They're not exact, but kind of close. So, very well could be. The theme still remains that there's something that says we want to make man into our image, okay? They didn't have a right to do that, so they stuck that thing in our head. So there's your microchip. All we got to do is try and get it reactivated, and that's what all of this genetic modification is about. So that little cube inside your head, blockhead, is the same cube that's on the North Pole of Saturn. So now you know why these guys call this thing God. I would not be surprised if there were little messages being sent down from that thing into people's heads, because they damn sure revere this thing. And if nobody could get it to work the right way, then nobody would be paying attention to it, and science wouldn't even be paying attention to it. So there you go. I think that's it. Let me see if I got anything else. Yeah, that's why when you look at this picture of you-know-who, that fucking phony, I don't even think she's from around here. You know, that's what that eye represented. That represents the pineal gland. And it's purple because it represents the nutless wonders. Remember I told you Queenie wears underwear without dick holes in it? Well, it's because she wished she had one. So these are the ones that have fallen. They're the ones that stuck that thing in your head. And so these are the people like her and her fruitcake boyfriend here that have sided with it and run around screaming about God. But in reality they have, whatever. They're a bunch of bullshitters. So now you know that the pineal gland is representative of the eye. The eye has a hexagon, which is an absolute reproduction of the one on the North Pole of Saturn. And so now you know why these freaks act the way they do, because Saturn is malicious. It's the woman. It's the evil entity that hates mankind. So it tries to use religion, which is supposed to help mankind, into damaging mankind. And that's why she runs around blah blah blah, and that's why you can't shut her page down. In the old days, if you wanted to get to the etherical plane, you had to have a channeler. Now, today, to get to your channel, you have to have an Ethernet connector. You see, with the stuff that you're seeing on this box ain't coming from here. That's why I keep finding problems with these videos, because they're thought patterns. And so they're being decoded in your pineal gland, and that's what you're saying. That's what the gist is. That's what's going on with humanity. An ancient thing that was put in your head, shut down by the Creator so that you could live a normal life, is now being reactivated through genetics. The corn molecule is the same molecule you have in your body. They have stuffed it into everything. Aside from that, soy is heavily based with estrogen. They've loaded everything with that. They are definitely turning you into them. And they're going to reactivate your pineal gland so that you see things the way that they do, where you'll see miracles and you'll say, oh, this is the right thing to do. It's not. Matter of fact, you might want to quit eating anything that's got grain in it and meat. I think the only thing safe to eat right now is vegetables. It's up to you. I'm just saying. Well, take care. Ciao.